Hey y'all, I'm so excited to be sharing this chop and chat with you of a Scentsy brick that is a summer staple for me. But first, I am going to just clean off some of this residue that is on my chopper. I'll put a timestamp here if you want to skip the cleaning, but if you'd like to see how I clean the residue off of my chopper, I'm going to do that now. Now for me today, I'm using this Purell, but I think any hand sanitizer will do. And I'm just going to start off with 2 dots on this side of the chopper, and I'm just going to work it in. I'm not actually trying to remove anything. I'm just spreading out the hand sanitizer on the blade, and especially because I use a crinkle cutter, I like to try and get it in between the little slats and let it sort of sit there for a second. Um, the hand sanitizer does kind of bring a little polish to it, but it's just step one. For me, the next step is going to be to actually come back with a wet paper towel and then a dry paper towel to actually remove the residue and the wax. So right now I'm just really spreading this out, and there's a bit more residue on this side, so I'm putting 4 pumps and just doing the same thing, repeating the process, spreading the hand sanitizer, trying to make sure I cover the whole surface front and back. And I'm still kind of working it in on the other side now because both sides have the hand sanitizer on it. I just am taking my time to make sure, as best as I can, that I get the hand sanitizer covering as much of the surface area that is metal of my chopper as I can, and give it a few seconds to just sort of sit there and kind of absorb and loosen any residue or wax that is there. Now, the other thing that I am going to say here is I have right over here a wet paper towel that I have somewhat heavily saturated this in water. I don't do this kind of cleaning over my sink, near my sink, anywhere that it could possibly get in the plumbing. So I always just bring a saturated towel with me. Now, you do have to be careful of this sharp edge here. I kind of have a habit of just resting my thumb there, and that can be quite dangerous because it is a sharp edge. Now, I am coming back with my just completely dry paper towel. So, what I brought with me here is a paper towel that I knew I was going to use to kind of spread and distribute the hand sanitizer. Then I have a saturated with water paper towel, and now I'm just going to be using the dry paper towel to pull off all of that wax and residue and leave me with a lovely clean chopper that is free of all wax and old fragrance oil. Now, typically I just have a damp cloth and a dry cloth with me when I am like chopping through multiple fragrances. That works really well for me as I'm getting through multiple fragrances in chopping sessions. Today, I am only going to be chopping this one, though I am going to put up my hand sanitizer really quickly. But as you can see here today, the brick that I'm chopping is skinny dipping. Scentsy's scent notes say that this is fresh green apple perfectly harmonized with refreshing melons and juicy pears. This is actually a new to me fragrance. I actually first purchased this as a brick from Club, mostly due to the recommendation of Linda H, who's on Instagram now, used to be on YouTube. Really quickly, you can see this bar did come with a crack, and it has a little damage here on the end of the clamshell, but I didn't feel like it was compromised at all. And typically when I find these broken, they're broken right where I'm going to chop them anyway, so it's not something that I'm overly concerned about. I am going to just chop straight down, even though I didn't really need to there, but to make sure that the crack went all the way through in the way that I wanted it to. For me, I have kind of adapted the way that Patricia Gates chops her bricks. If you watch her channel, I absolutely adore her channel. She has so much wonderful insight when it comes to both fragrance and also just storing, trying, testing wax. She's a pro. I really enjoy watching her. But I have made a couple of changes, and one of the changes is what I do with these star shapes. So I believe she cuts all of her cubes into thirds. And for me, any of these that have a star, I am just going to cut in half. So there will be 2 pieces there. I just find that's how I use it. And then All of the other pieces that do not have a star will be cut into thirds to the best of my ability. Sometimes I miss my mark a little bit, and I have been struggling today, so we will see. I've had some dexterity challenges, but the goal is that they will be, if they're a star, they're going to be in half, and then if they are um, any of the other kind of like body of the shapes, they will end up with 3 slices. My brick purchasing of Skinny Dippin', as I said earlier, was completely influenced by a YouTube content creator at the time who goes by Linda H. She does currently still have, I think she still has her YouTube channel. She's just backed away from posting as much on there, but she does have an Instagram that you can follow, and she posts lots of great content there as well. But she recommended it, and this is actually my second brick of Skinny Dippin' that I'm going through, because at the time when she recommended it, I don't think it was in the catalog, but this is one of those bricks that is available if you have a Scentsy club. And so I had a half price item, and I thought, you know what, at half price, I'm going to give this a try. So it was so risky though, because I bought a whole brick of something. Ooh, told you, told you. I'm struggling with my dexterity a little bit today. Um, so you can see that kind of these do sort of fit right back in. Oh goodness, we can tell. I did not do that one so well. That is not a third. On that centerpiece there. No, no, we did not reach our goal. But that really doesn't matter for me, because that is about a cube that I think is about just 3 3/4 of a regular Scentsy bar cube size. So when I'm cutting it in half, I know that's giving me right at 1 8/10 of a bar cube. So it's essentially like having 2 bar cubes if you cut those in half. If I can, I will pop up a picture of Patricia Gates' Instagram post where she shared her relative measurements. So essentially it outlines that I think like the center row is 3.75 cubes in each section, and then the stars, I know I remember, are 3.25. And then I think these larger ones in the lower middle are like 4.5 cubes of a regular bar. And so for me, the reason that I like to slice them in thirds is when they're the larger size is it gets me as close to essentially 1 cube. So it's always going to be just over 1 cube. But I'm very accustomed to blending 1 cube at a time because I used bars exclusively for so long. It's just a really easy measurement for me. Quick reminder, the imprint that exists on the top of the wax exists also on the bottom of the clamshell. So that can help you to kind of make sure you're putting them back in the right place. Ooh, this is that wax piece that my hand shook on when I was cutting. So I'm going to take 2 of getting that securely back in. But again, this is one that I think this is a piece that is 4.75 of the regular bar cubes. And so because of that, if I were to cut it in half, it would be just over 2 cubes. And that's typical for me. It's very typical that I might put, 2 cubes in a warmer. So I don't feel like I have to be super exact when I'm slicing these. However, on like a bar like sugar cookie, when I am using it, a lot of the time I am partner melting or direct mixing with sugar cookie. So I like to be able to add 1 cube to 1 cube sugar cookie to like very snowy spruce. And I love doing 1 cube to 1 cube to 1 cube sugar cookie, very snowy spruce, and strawberry sweetie. And I'm very excited this year to try that with Berry Bliss, because I have high hopes for that combination too. So it really just depends what you're using your pieces for, how ultimately you'll decide to cut them. But for me, I really enjoy having them as much as I can in thirds and then having the stars in half. And we are done. Skinny Dippin' is a really great fragrance. I do tend to melt this on its own. I don't partner melt. I find it very room filling, but still light in the air. It's a great summer scent. I'm excited to have it on deck and ready to go. thanks to Linda H for recommending it. Highly recommend you pop on over to Instagram and give her a follow if you did not follow her on YouTube. And I know she still has her YouTube videos up. Lots of great information there as well. I would love to continue the conversation. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so we can stay in touch. And let me know in the comments, have you ever purchased a larger volume of wax, like a brick or a loaf, from a recommendation from somebody on YouTube? If so, how'd that go for you? Let me know.